Good morning, Unity of Medina. Repeat after me. It's all in divine order. Oh, it's kind of funny with the holiday season that we're moving through now. If this were a football game, we'd be going into the third quarter. The first quarter was Halloween, and we had all of the candy left over. And then we had Thanksgiving, which was all the family specialties and food. And we're all probably packing on a couple extra pounds, but who cares? Because if you stay in the moment, it's not a big deal. You don't have to worry about it until New Year's. But now we're rolling into the third quarter. And oh, by the way, go Bucks. But we're looking at Christmas, we're looking at New Year's, and we're looking at a season of parties and glad tidings and bubbly toasts. So what do you need to do to just kind of enjoy the season? Well, the world is dark, and what we have all around us are the Christmas lights. And that is the perfect metaphor for the light you are and the light you carry within you, the Christ light. And today we're going to light the first candle on the Advent wreath. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about the significance of the Advent wreath, and then we're going to bless it. So the wreath starts with a circle, which is a symbol of wholeness, unity, and the divine order of the universe. On top of that, we have the evergreens, and the evergreens represent hope and eternal life. On top of that, we have the 4 candles, and if you draw an imaginary line between them, and even if you look at them physically, they represent a square. And the square is a sign of the earth and all matter, including the 4 elements of earth, which is air, water, earth, and fire. And then we've got 3 purple candles, 1 pink candle, and the optional 5th candle, which is white, which is our Christ candle. The color purple is a combination of red, which is a signifier for the earth, and blue, which brings divine thought into manifestation. The purple is associated with the crown chakra, and it's also associated with unity's power of power. The pink combines the vibrancy of red with the purity of white. And since that color is so light, it represents the purity of love that resides within the heart. The white contains all of the colors and represents unconditional love. And the white, too, can be a signifier of the crown chakra. The fire is really interesting because the fire is a transformative element. And as we light that candle, we invite the passion and understanding and the intellectual and spiritual pursuits into our life. So it's a very active candle and a color. So what I'd like to do now is to invite you to join me in blessing our Advent wreath. And what I'm doing is I'm going to use a sign of the season and the power of sound to bless this Advent wreath. And I will bless this Advent wreath. We know it is a symbol of transformation. It's the transformation we receive during the Christmas season. We bless this that it may serve the season and aid us in our exploration and expansion of the Christ light within. So be it, with love. And I will now light the first candle of Advent, which is the hope candle. So as we move through the season, this is a symbol of the transformation that we are all working to achieve this season. And as we keep that in mind and intent, let it work with you. Let it be a part of your season. It's beautiful, it's lovely, but there's power in this symbol. So we just acknowledge that and bless it. So be of the peace. There's also a morning prayer that I would like you to just take in the words of this. And Mother, Father, God, you have gifted us this day to start our spiritual journey of recognizing and embellishing the Christ light within our hearts. Sometimes the beauty of this earth planet and the love it engenders, the unity of all creation, is hidden in the busyness of everyday life. While we might enjoy the buying of presents and the baking and the partying, let us do these activities with love and gratitude for the recipients of our gifts and our holiday cheer. Let us be the light. Let us honor the light within all whose path we cross. Let hope and faith, peace, love, and joy prevail in all this season and always. So be it with love. Amen. And now Angie will lead us in our opening song.
As the people stood with joy and yes. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Come to Bethlehem and see Christ within the angels sing. Come adore our family on this day of love and peace. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Peace just like this manger lay, angels gather here today. Unity this Christmas day, join our hearts in love we praise. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Welcome. I'm Judy Stoynoff, and I'll be your platform person today. We here at Unity, we affirm our core values of integrity, joy, acceptance, love, and spiritual growth. Today's daily word, hope and faith. I walk by faith and live each day with hope in my heart. As Advent begins, I center myself in hope and feel my faith grow strong. I marvel at Mary's faith as I think about the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual aspects of her journey to Bethlehem to have her child. She must have felt frightened to hear what the angel had told her, but faith allowed her to take each step with peace. Like Mary, I may wonder why I am facing certain events. Like Mary, I live in faith. When I have doubt or uncertainty, no matter what is going on in my life, my faith in the power of spiritual living gives me renewed hope that God is with me. I am reassured that along every journey, no matter how long, the highest good is unfolding. Today's passage is taken from Psalm chapter 62, verse 5. For God alone my soul waits in silence, for my hope is from him. And now Angie will prepare us for meditation.
It came upon the midnight clear, that glorious song of old, from angels bending near the earth to touch their harps of gold. Peace on the earth, goodwill to men, from heaven's all gracious King. The world in solemn stillness lay to hear the angels sing. Still through the cloven skies they come with peaceful wings unfurled, and still their heavenly music flows o'er all the weary world. When peace shall over all the earth its ancient splendors fling, and all the world give back the song which now the angels sing.
As we start meditation, I would invite you to become comfortable and centered in your chair, with your feet on the floor and your hands sitting comfortably in your lap. Feel supported by that chair and the earth below you. And if you haven't already closed your eyes, I would invite you to do that. I would invite you to take 3 deep breaths at your own pace. On your in-breath, think, I am. And on your out-breath, think, peace. I am peace. I am peace. I am peace. Imagine roots from your feet seeking support from Mother Earth. Perhaps your roots are shallow and wide-spreading like a pine tree, or perhaps a deep taproot with many branches seeking deep into the earth like an oak tree. Now imagine a shimmering white light entering your body through the top of your head, the crown chakra. It moves throughout every tissue, organ, and cell, filling your physical body to overflowing. You are filled with the energy of the heavens while being solidly connected to Mother Earth. You are spirit in a physical body. Notice your own light, and then notice the same light in others around you. You see it in those around you, in your loved ones as you bring them to mind, in strangers, and even with those with whom you've struggled. Each light is slightly different, yet all come from the same source. As you continue to breathe, watch these lights draw closer together into a vast luminous expanse that stretches beyond what you can physically see. This is unity. Not the blending away of our uniqueness, but the harmony of many lights coming together. In Advent, we remember that Christ's coming calls upon us to recognize the divine spark in ourselves and each other. We carry hope with this light to accept the world as it is and to create the world we want to see. And we do this in divine order. Take another breath or two. Feel your feet solidly on the floor. And slowly come back to this place and time with Angie's music. Awesome per usual, Angie. It makes that 2-hour ride up 71 easy. Oh, really? You know, one of the things I love about preparing a talk is that I always learn something new while I'm researching the topic. And sometimes I'm reminding myself of information that kind of got on the back burner of my brain. So I really thank you, Unity of Medina, for giving me the opportunity to do this and to come and reconnect with my Medina family. I appreciate it so much. It's beyond what you understand. I'd like to start today by dipping into the history of Advent. And you know, we've rolled through so many of these as we age that oftentimes we just kind of roll through the season. And I thought it might be nice to just see, where did this actually come from? And unlike the start of the Easter season, which in history was tied to the Passover, the start of Advent is kind of nebulous, and they really don't have a definitive date for the start of Advent. You know, nobody believes Jesus was born on the 25th of December, but that date is celebrated because it's in the middle of the December solstice, which is the darkest day of the year in the northern hemisphere. And the coming of the light of the world, Jesus, made sense in the midst of all that darkness. That December 25th date was fixed in the early centuries of the church. And then Easter and Christmas took on special meaning for the early Christians because they used those dates in commemorating the life of Jesus. By the 4th century, the first written Advent mention is found in modern Spain in Europe, which at that time was Gaul and Hispania. The Council of Saragossa in AD 380 did not establish a specific date for Advent, but they suggested that people go to church between December 17th and 29th. But by the 5th and 6th century, we have written records of the Advent season, and we have written records of Advent sermons. Ryan Reeves is a professor of historical theology, and he says that most of the historical celebrations of Advent had a dual purpose. The focus was embedded in the Latin term adventus, which we got Advent from, and that is a translation of the Greek parousia, which is a word used for both the coming of Jesus in physical form and also in his second coming. Now, you know, Reeves says that Advent and Christmas were never held as a full reenactment in the life of Christ, but they point to the resurrection and second coming. And Advent and Christmas, he says, are not merely about the coming of Jesus, but about everything since the birth of Jesus. And here we are. In Unity, we might phrase that second coming a little bit differently. You know, the second coming for us is recognizing that Christ light within, which is what we focus on during the 4 weeks of Advent. The Advent wreath is a symbol of Advent season, and that's as common in Christian homes and churches as the Christmas tree is. And that beautiful wreath actually was created in 19th century in Germany by a Protestant pastor named Johann Heinrich Weichert. And he developed that to help children count down the days till Christmas, which I thought was kind of cute. I don't know about you, but I'm still a kid at heart, and I love the Advent wreath, and I love the Advent calendar. But the wreath as we know it today, again, is the circle of evergreens with the 4 candles, the 3 purple and the 1 pink. And the white Christ candle is the optional 5th candle. And that was traditionally lit on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. But in Unity, we light that candle every single week to remind us that we have the Christ light within us and that the light of the world resides within each of us. The first candle represents hope. And I don't know about you, but I either never knew or didn't remember that each of these candles has a name. And the hope candle is called the prophecy candle. And it represents hope in the coming of the Messiah and recalling the prophecies about his coming. The second candle is also purple, and it represents peace, and it's called the Bethlehem candle, and it symbolizes peace on earth. The third candle is pink, and it represents joy and is known as the shepherd's candle. It symbolizes the joy felt in Jesus' birth and the joy that the shepherds had when they went to see him. The fourth candle is also purple, and it's called the angel candle. It represents the love of God, and it symbolizes the peace that the angels delivered to the earth through the shepherds. Today, we celebrate that first Sunday in Advent, and we lit the candle representing hope, and we also include faith in that. So, what exactly is hope? Well, you can always start with a dictionary definition, and so many people, that's what we do. We go to the dictionary online, because nobody has the paper book anymore except me. So if we start with that dictionary definition, it says that hope is that feeling of expectation, a desire or wish for certain things to happen. However, the Daily Word from this past September 27th says, hope is so much more than wishful thinking. It is a light in the darkness, a whisper in silence, a shelter from life's storms. Even if I struggle to muster the faith that a troubling time will end, I can find hope that there will be a brighter tomorrow. Keeping a positive expectation for a brighter future buoys me in the present. Hope helps me remain present to the world as it is, while working toward a world I wish to create. The Daily Word defines hope as much more than wishful thinking. And the Bible can also tell us about hope. From the Old Testament, we have Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. For surely I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord, plans for your welfare and not your harm, to give you a future with hope. Here we have a divine blueprint for what God intends for us to live, and he bestows the gift of hope upon us for the future. From the New Testament, we have Romans chapter 12, verse 12. Rejoice in hope, be patient in suffering, persevere in prayer. Instructions on how we should live. Rejoicing in hope can reflect back also to that Old Testament passage, in that it tells us to be joyous in our gift of hope. So even though the joy candle's a couple weeks ahead, there's no reason why we can't be joyous in our gift of hope. And in Romans, this time in chapter 15, verse 13, we have, may the God of hope fill you with joy and peace in believing, so that you may abound in hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. We learn that hope is a quality of God, and by filling us with joy and peace, God is raising our vibration. And then there is 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 13, probably one of the most recognized verses in the Bible. And now faith, hope, and love abide, these three. The greatest of these is love. I think that's important to put this passage in a little bit of a broader perspective, so I'd like to take verse 11 through 13. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put an end to childish ways. For now I know only in part. Then I will know fully, even as I have been known fully. And now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, and the greatest of these is love. In this passage, the life of a child is a metaphor for spiritual immaturity. We are in an incomplete state of knowledge, and in a future state, we will be known and know in a complete and perfect way. While the thrust of this entire chapter is on the gift of love, love is a partner of faith and hope. Hope did not get third place in these three. It's a meshing of those three faith, hope, and love. All three are keys to our spiritual development, and therefore all three are important and critical for us to have. In this year's Advent booklet, the first Sunday in Advent features an article from Reverend Maggie Alderman entitled Hope and Faith, and perhaps you've read it already, talking about the Christmas lights sprinkled across our towns and our houses and our country. She says that as we settle into the early days of winter, the lights inspire us with awe and wonder across the generations. Whether you're 2 years old or whether you're 92 years old, those lights can be awesome. It reminds us, she says, that we have enough inner resources to endure temporary darkness. We have the wisdom, the imagination, and most important, the faith to move us through the season that represents a new birth, an awakening or deepening of our Christ consciousness. Faith and hope are intertwined, and that's why we celebrate them together in unity and on this first Sunday. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1 states, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance for what we do not see." Bible teacher Clarence L. Hayes Jr. says this in his article entitled, "What is hope and why is it critical to our faith?" You cannot have hope unless it is tied together with faith. You have hope because you have faith, and you have faith because you have hope. What matters most is the object of your faith and hope. If you remove the element of hope, then you will discover that your joy, your enthusiasm, your peace, your focus, your motivation, everything attached to your walk with God will be removed with it. Hope is a foundation of our being. Dr. Alan Hamilton says in Trust the Larger Hope, an article which appeared in Spirituality and Health, that almost no aspect of human activity, endeavor, or aspiration can exist long without it. It possesses the strange alchemy of serving as a power that drives us toward the light, as well as also being the light we seek. So it is both actor and agent. We hope to find a good parking space. We hope for good weather. We hope we haven't left something behind us at home. Hope is so much, he says, that we hardly notice it. Hamilton also cites the U.S. Army Survival Manual FM-76. That describes hope as the desire to live despite insurmountable odds, and tells its soldiers that hope is the ultimate weapon. In his career as a brain surgeon, Hamilton relates a story from his practice when he was a young surgeon and made the mistake of taking hope away from a patient. After a long time of caring with a young man with a malignant brain tumor, he honored the patient's request to tell him that if things were going south, that it was time to go fishing. After an emergency trip to the hospital and more medical interventions, or no more interventions available to the young man, it was obvious that he had very little time left. Dr. Hamilton thought about the promise he made to that young man. "You remember when you asked me to tell you when it was time to go fishing?" The patient nodded his head, and I said, "Well, it's time." I saw him turn sheet white and deflate like I'd stuck him with a pin. In the morning, I received a call from his mom. He passed away during the night. I had committed to telling him the truth. That was an honorable thing, and I kept my promise. But I also know he died because I inadvertently took away his hope. He saw me lose hope in him, and then he lost hope. I learned that no one has the right to take away another person's hope. No one has the right to take away another person's hope. That is one powerful statement, and one we might want to take to heart. Many studies have shown that hope dramatically affects a patient's optimism, quality of life, support systems, activity level, pain perception, and more. And we may even carry hope with one foot in the grave. On December 3rd, 2004, around 8 o'clock in the morning, I received a call from hospice. Linda, your father is dying. Get here as soon as you can. And we can't get a hold of your brother. I was living in Fairfax, Virginia at the time, which was a 6 to 7 hour drive to Ohio. I chose to get on the next plane and hoped I would get there in time. I connected with my brother in Rochester, Minnesota, which was an 11 to 12 hour drive, and he chose to drive to Ohio. I doubted either of us would make it, but I hoped. When I arrived at the hospice around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, my cousin was with my dad. She'd been telling him that I was on my way. And when I got there, my brother had been on the road about 3 hours. Dad waited for me. My dad showed many signs of physical dying, but he hung on till 10 p.m. that night. We had kept my dad updated on where my brother was, Indiana line, Ohio line, he's on 71, he's coming. Hearing is the last sense to go as you're dying. When my brother walked into the room, he joined me at my dad's bedside, and 10 minutes later, my dad was gone. He waited more than 14 hours for my brother to arrive from Minnesota. I learned so much from that experience about life and about death and about the power of hope, despite seemingly insurmountable odds. Hope appears to be a universal emotion. It got me wondering about other creatures, and I wondered if animals exhibit hope. So I Googled it, and AI gave me this answer. Yes, many scientists believe that animals have hope, though its expression may differ from humans and is a subject of ongoing debate. While some view animal hope as a complex, future-oriented emotion requiring sophisticated cognition, others point to behavioral evidence of anticipation, resilience, and a positive outlook, such as a dog waiting to go for a walk or an animal adopting to a new life. Here are some of the expressions of hope in the animal kingdom. The behavioral observation, examples of a dog waiting consistently by the door for a walk, or an animal patiently waiting for food, which suggests a belief that a desired outcome will occur. Resilience. Animals that recover from injury or find comfort in a new home demonstrate a positive outlook on future possibilities, even after facing adversity. Being a doggy mom for more than 50 years, I can attest to that statement, as most of my 9 dogs have been rescue animals. And not to offend you cat parents, I have a dear friend who has had cats just as long, and she concurs. I can't comment on the other species, I haven't had them, but I'm going to trust the scientists. There's also neurochemical evidence if we want to get into the chemistry. The presence of neurotransmitters like dopamine and oxytocin, which are linked to reward and infection in humans, have been observed in dogs and other animals, suggesting a shared biological basis for positive emotions. And then there's complex emotions. Some researchers, like primatologist Franz de Waal, argue that animals share complex emotions with humans, including hope, disappointment, and empathy. If what animals experience is hope in their specific species, then hope is probably a universal. Like everything else on this physical plane, hope has a vibration. We can raise or lower our vibrations, and perhaps the animal kingdom can do the same. I see hope also as a call to action. In Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, we hear Matthew chapter 7, verse 7, "Ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and it will be open to you." Sitting down and hoping and waiting for God to drop something into our laps is not the way we receive. We know we have to act to receive, to create, to manifest. And we have the power to do so. By seeking, asking, and knocking, we are acting. We are taking action. And to create, we must have intent as well. And the more specific, the better. And we have tools to working with manifestation for what we hope for. With Christmas season rolling into New Year's, we have Advent to prepare, we have Burning Bowl to release, and vision boards to create. We have a word for the year. We have resolutions. We have prayer and spiritual learning. And we have groups to help create a better world, whether they're meditation or prayer groups or something like Heart Maths with their Coherence app. Perhaps we can resolve to live with hope and intention in 2026 and work for personal and universal good. Make it simple. Set an intention for the first thing in the morning for the rest of your day. Or set an intention before bed that you can carry into dream time and into the following morning. Or how about while you're brushing your teeth or while you're having lunch? Learn to live intentionally. Finally, can hope help us live through political and societal chaos? I found a fascinating article that actually addresses this issue, calling hope a democratic virtue. And that's democratic with a small d, as in of the people, by the people, for the people. And I'd like to share the synopsis of democratic virtue. Hope as a democratic virtue is an active, resilient orientation to the future that empowers citizens to believe their actions can create positive change even amid uncertainty. It motivates engagement in collective efforts for a better society, acting as an antidote to cynicism and despair. It's not naive optimism, but a commitment to democratic processes, recognizing possibility and fostering solidarity to build a more just world. And I'd like to close today with a daily word from December 1st, 2019. I think it's a summary of where we are in the Advent season and a summary of what I've just chatted about. The affirmation is, Christ awareness is born in me. Hope is the window through which I glimpse the good that is yet to come in my life. Feelings of hopefulness kindle my zeal, imagination, love, and perhaps most importantly, my faith. As my hope matures into faith, I begin to realize that the good I am hoping for is already mine. The journey to Christmas is our shared story of realizing our indwelling Christ presence. The journey begins in hope and faith. As I start growing in spiritual awareness, I begin to feel hopeful. I learn that the Christ, the image and likeness of God, is my spiritual nature. My hope for the future becomes my faith in the present. As I celebrate Christ awareness alive in me and expressing as me. And again, from Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Now, let the Christmas season begin. And the Stalvey family would love to extend Christmas greetings to our family at Unity in Medina for a blessed Christmas season filled with hope, faith, peace, joy, and love. Thank you, and God bless.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I have a song that I know you all probably know, so I hope you sing it with me. And so this is Christmas. What have you done? Another year over, a new one just begun. And so this is Christmas. I hope you have fun. The near and the dear one, the old and the young. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. And so this is Christmas, for weak and for strong, for rich and for poor ones. The road is so long, and so happy Christmas for black and for white, for yellow and red ones. Let's stop all the fight. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. And so this is Christmas, and what have we done? Another year over, a new one just begun. And so happy Christmas, we hope you have fun. The near and the dear ones, the old and the young. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. War is over if you want it. War is
Thank you, Angie. That's one of my favorites. Now for announcements for November 30th. October finances, the income was $4,545.82. Expenses, $4,798.72. And so we're kind of in the red for $252.90. We affirm that divine abundance flows freely no matter how things appear. With open hearts, we gratefully receive the good that is unfolding now. Prosperity is our truth, and we stand in faith that it continues to manifest through us. So for some of the things that are happening, Linda has extended an invitation to anyone interested today to join her after service that Sunday, today at Aladdin's in Medina. See Linda if you have questions. We are collecting food for the food pantry over the next few weeks. Please bring in something non-perishable that can be easily to open or prepare, soups, chili, stews, and such. Friday, December 5th is the next First Friday Fellowship. Bring a game or play something new. The event is from 6 to 9. All are welcome. Reverend Michelle and Reverend Ann are hosting an Advent prayer service starting Wednesdays in December, starting December 3rd at 6 p.m. Please pick up an Advent booklet as you leave and bring it with you on Wednesdays. Our final Wednesday Advent will be the Unity 12 Powers Candlelight Service on Wednesday, December 24th at 6 p.m. Reverend Michelle is looking for volunteers who will be at the service who can help set up. We have special music that evening along with Christmas caroling. There's something else that was in the newsletter that's a little bit different. January 4th is our burning bowl. They're separating it, so this isn't the same what you're seeing in the newsletter. January 11th will be the white stone ceremony. Please note the dates are different than the newsletter. Be sure to watch up for upcoming classes and activities in the newsletter and on the website. And now Linda will lead us in blessing one another and guests.
Do we have anybody here for the first time? No. Okay, so this is the Unity group that is core, so let us bless each other. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate Christ in you. Thank you for being here. Okay, it's now time for us to center and take a moment to give gratitude for Unity of Medina and all those who serve her with presence, time, talent, and treasure. We offer up our intentions for a thriving community, abundant coffers, and deepening connection to the spark of divine within. Join me in our offertory prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful.
We take all that we are and all that we have, and then we circulate. We take the gifts that God gives and the love that we live, and then we circulate. We look around and we share to show others we care, to extend God's plan of love, to be all that we are, to share all that we have. We circulate. We take all that we are and all that we have, and then we circulate. We take the gifts that God gives and the love that we live, and then we circulate. We look around and we share to show others we care, to extend God's plan of love, to be all that we are, to share all that we have. We circulate.
For the request in the prayer box and those that we hold in heart, we hold all within the power of love. We know each is created in the image and likeness of God, and that God's plans for us are for our welfare and not for harm, to give us a future of hope. We are thankful for the healing on all levels occurring now. And for the offerings, we are grateful for the gift and the giver, knowing each will be blessed with multiplying abundance. May these funds be used for the good of our community, both locally, nationally, and internationally. We acknowledge the care and love with which they will be received and dispensed. And for our world and all creatures on it are challenged in many ways. We are grateful for those holding the light in the midst of chaos. We are grateful for those working for clean air, water, and food for all. We are grateful for those working for peace. May Mother Earth and all inhabitants who call her home be healed, whole, and healthy. And so it is. Okay, it's time for the peace song. Let's circle up.